Hey there, captains. It's Reem here with another Vassal World Cup battle report. This is for round 4 of Swiss. Just played it last night. Thought I'd get the video out right away. My opponent for the week is Outbound Flight. We're going to go through his list quick. His list comes in at 400 points. It is an MC-30 torpedo frigate with General Kraken, Expert Shield Tech, Ordnance Experts, External Racks, H9 Turbolasers, and the Foresight title. There is a CR90B, that's the blue dice one, with Captain Rex, Ion Cannon Batteries, and Jaina's Light. Another CR90B with Dodonna's Pride. There's a GR75 with Adar Talon and Boosted Comms. A GR75 with Torn Far. And then a nice little, mostly rogue squad ball, a couple of non-rogues here. But we have Lando, Shara, Dutch, Rogue, a generic A-Wing, and then three YT-2400s. So nice little ball here. Nice fleet in general. My fleet, I'll get into detail, but General Kraken is a major problem for me. But speaking of my fleet, we'll go up to my fleet. I need to close that. Up to my fleet here. I'll just go through it quick. I'll probably do a recap video later this week about my fleet in detail. But as a quick overview, for those who haven't seen it yet, it is a Venator II with Clone Captain Zak, Veteran Gunners, SPHA-Ts, Electronic Countermeasures, External Racks, Linked Turbolaser Towers, the Tranquility title. Then there's the Venator I with Bale, GAllia, Boarding Troopers, Intensify Firepower, External Racks, Linked Turbolaser Towers, and the Resolute title. Then there is a pair of Pelta transport frigates, both with projection experts, one with munitions resupply, one with parts resupply, and Hondo on one of them. So those are the fleets. We'll get into the battle here. Here it is partway through deployment. Once again, I have chosen first because I do not want to be first lasted by the MC-30. I have chosen capture the VIP, hence the objective token right here next to the station. And I am fully deployed at this point, and this is all Outbound has down. I placed this is the SPHA-T Venator, this is the Ven 2, in such a way that if I go speed 3, I can threaten this objective token. And I'm going to take a little second here to give a little bit of context about this game. This being the last round of Swiss, both me and Outbound knew at this point what we kind of needed to get into the top 4, because many of the other games in Swiss had been played already. So we both needed an 8-3, which is 140 to 219 margin of victory. The easiest way for Outbound to get that is just killing Bale and not losing anything, or killing Bale and a Pelta, or both Peltas would give them quite a bit of room here. For me, I needed to kill the MC-30 and a counselor, and a CR-90, and not lose anything, which is very unlikely. Or if I lost like a Pelta, I'd have to pick up one of the GR-75s and a couple of squads. So my game plan for this is I have to make Bale the most enticing thing to kill, protected, and I need to put myself in such a manner that if I know I'm going to lose something, I have to try and go for a table. Because that's with only 3 combat ships and the CR-90s, I think both being around like 50 some odd points. If I lose anything outside of a Pelta, I'm going to have to basically table him. The nice thing is, as long as I don't lose Bale, if I get the table, since Bale's over 143 points, I know I'm going to have more than 140 MOV because he won't be able to score this, I don't believe. So with this in mind, I opted to put Bale facing the short edge here, and this was in such a way that if he did want to kill Bale, he'd have to deploy the MC-30 and the CR-90 going this way. And that would at least force them against the board edge, and I could like sharp turn in, slow down, sharp turn in, and like try and pin him against the wall or the table edge. That was kind of my hope. The other thing that Outbound could do is try and kill Tranquility and a Pelta and only lose a CR-90 because it's like a 138 points or so, just short of 140, and this is worth like 54. So if you kill both of these and you just lose like a CR-90 and you have the token, you definitely have the 8-3. You might also have to come in and kill this other Pelta, but it might be straggling behind, and the squads can relatively pick it off. So I was hoping that you go for the Bale kill because it's the more expensive Venator and try and like come around the outside. Or at least force him into that position because that's the strongest position for me. And if he goes out this way, I'll have to turn sharp and try and deal with it. Most notably, though, I did realize if he did deploy out here or over here in an attempt to flank around, this Venator from where it's at is going to be really out of position. It's not going to be able to turn in sharp enough. So I was really hoping that he'd try and contest it. So we'll go to the end of deployment here to see how Outbound finished deploying. Unfortunately, Outbound did deploy on the far edge, which means I was going to have to try and hard turn in with everything. At this point, this is one of those games where it's like, arguably could have lost that deployment here. My only chance is if I get this Venator up, threaten the objective token. The only thing that's really reasonably able to pick it up and like fly away is this is Adar Talon here, this flotilla. If I can kill the flotilla and the token still sits there, because I activate first, so go here, shoot this if it comes to pick this up. The token's going to be hanging out here, and I can bait something to swing up instead of down to try and pick it up. And in that case, this Venator will be in position to hit whatever comes this direction. Otherwise, Outbound is going to be free to kind of skirt this direction, try and kill Tranquility, and then also kill this Pelta down here. And killing Tranquility, this is actually one of the more reasonable fleets to do it. I just want to point that out. Tranquility's weakness, or its strength, especially this build with ECM, it's really good at tanking like one big shot and a couple of small shots. It's not so good at, like you'll eat through the shields. It'll take a bit, but these squads can eat through the shields. I have no way to mitigate squad damage. The little plunking damage from the CR-90s is going to be super annoying. So I can definitely see Tranquility going down in this scenario, which is super unfortunate because if I lose Tranquility, I definitely have to go for the table. So I'm already feeling pretty bad about this setup, but that was just due to the bad deployment disadvantage here. So just playing to your most favorable outcome, so going for this and seeing if we can bait something up. So we'll go to end of round 1. Oops. Or very end of round 1 here. As you can see, I'm turning everything in to try and meet stuff as it's coming in. Adar did fly in, just touching this token, so he'll be able to pick it up if Adar survives. And I have blue out the side with SPHA-T, obstructed, of course, because of Kraken and also the station. Outbound hasn't really committed here. If I do blow up Adar here, this MC-30 is in a position where it could come up. The CR-90 is in a position where it could come up. This CR-90 is probably going to go around. So my plan is to sharp turn this Pelta out. This Venator had to go to speed 3 to get that shot. And I'm in danger of flying into the MC-30. So next round, I'm going to Hondo to give the squad token to the boarding troopers Venator, and a nav here, and I can use a nav token and dial to go speed 1, and land parallel here on throwing stuff, but not fly into this. So we're really banking on killing this and hoping we can bait something up. All right, so let's go to the next slide. All right, this is partway through round 2. This Fat Venator did go first. It did with Intensify Firepower and Veteran Gunners. It got the 2 accuracies and 4 damage. It needed because I had Confire and Clone Captain Zak to get me enough blue dice to kill Adar Talon. So one shot that. So now we know we have a game going because something's going to have to come up and grab this token. It's not easily ignored. Going partway through 2, you can see, and just the way activations have lined up, that the CR90s are coming down. So I know that the only thing that's going to be able to come up here and grab this is the MC30. I chose to highlight this moment here because I was trying to decide what to do with the Venator. The Venator here took a bail nav dial. That's how I got the double click at 2. And I could have done like a click here and a click at 3 and like basically landed at close range of this token. But knowing that I'm going to probably need a table here, because I can already see what's going to happen next round with this this Venator. It is if this MC30 comes in over here to get this token, I'm going to be set up for probably a side and rear shot into the Venator. I'm going to get bombed at the end of this round by all these squads. I'm going to be shot by these. Tranquility is probably going to die here. This Pelta is no longer in range. I did a little bit of a ram last round. This Pelta is no longer in range, or going to be in range after this moves to do projection experts, so I'm only going to have 1 here. And I'm probably going to land on the debris field, again, going speed 1. Or if I ram, I might hit the debris field again. So that's going to be a lot of damage. I'm accepting that I'm probably going to lose Tranquility here. And I feel like if I go speed 3 right here with the Venator I, Outbound will not fly the MC30 down. He's just going to realize that if he kills both this Tranquility and the 2 Peltas, even if I have captured the VIP, he'll still get the 8-3. Even after losing Adar, I was trying to do quick math. I believe that is correct. And knowing that I'm going to need a table, the only way that I'm going to be able to get a table is if this Venator gets in the fight. It won't be able to do that itself because these are so small and nimble. I need something to fly into it. So I'm hoping if I go here, the MC30 will fly up here. I'll be able to go first with this Venator next round, and I'll be able to spat one of these CR90s to death. And then get a nice side shot into the MC30. And then hopefully the MC30 goes and like flies and somehow lands into close, or is so trying to avoid damage, it like flies up and then it'll have a hard time maybe slowing down in time. I don't know. I'm just hoping that he flies in. And the option is to either like turn so sharp and so fast that he maybe worries if he can stay on the table, or he lands in close, I can get X-Rax and boarding troopers off on this. So while speed 3 was probably better to be able to secure the token, even if I got the token, if I lose this Venator, it won't give me the 8-3 to get in the top 4. So it's a little bit different knowing that you got to play to a certain score. Changes the math quite a bit. So this is why I kind of opted for the 2 at the time, in just hopes that we bait this up. If I can kill the CR90, get some good damage on the MC30, and then if this can live long enough to SPHA-T out the side, if this has to fly into the side, or if it's in the rear, or I can get some salvos, The Peltas are also in a good position to maybe get a ram on this or get some chip damage in. I'll also make note that in this fleet, the Peltas do a surprising amount of chip damage. That's why Intensify is here, to make these pretty reliable chip damage fleets. Kraken really, it's bad enough shooting evade ships, evade smalls, but Kraken especially makes it so your Sard Arcs don't do anything unless they're in close, and it's usually going to be like 1 red at long, and they just evade it. So the Peltas are not going to be doing a lot of long range damage. I got to try to get them in close. And if I do that, it's only going to last 1 round. So in my head, I'm doing this so that the MC30 comes here. I have a chance to kill it. I can kill one of these CR90s with SPHA-T, and then hopefully threaten the other one with chip damage from like salvos and maybe a red at medium, maybe a ram, something. Just going for the table here, it's going to be rough. I've talked entirely too long on this slide. Let's go to the next one. So this is the end of 2. The MC30 does come in. So like I said, we have options on which way they're going to go. Hopefully in close, hopefully not turn out, especially if he wants to stay at speed 4. To avoid like red dice as much as possible or get into long. He might not have enough board space to turn, so I'm hoping it's going to be a shallower turn. I got the SPHA-T here. This Pelta got to move up yet. So as far as activation order goes, I know I'm going to activate the Venator first, get nice chip damage here, get nice, hopefully blow up the CR90. He's going to be forced to go the MC30 to not take the red dice at medium, and to also secure the token, which means this Pelta will get to go and get a close day shot into this CR90, and also get to ram it, which I will take at this point, because like I said, if I table him, as long as I still have the Bale Venator, it will be I'll have 140 MOV and it'll be an 8-3. And then also knowing that this MC30 is going to be flying out this way, in some fashion, I'm actually going to opt to start turning the Pelta in case the MC30 survives and starts wheeling around. I can threaten this edge of the board over here with this Pelta. All right, so we'll go to the end. The next slide, I should say. So as you can see, this is the end of round 3. This Venator is down to 3 hull, no shields. So Tranquility is definitely dying. The squads are set up to just murder it. I did kill Rex, the CR90 over here, with Rex on it before it got to activate. I got some chip damage out the side. It was really disappointing though. This Kraken and Expert Shield Techs, I got like 2 accuracies and 2 damage. So I blocked the evades and he just Expert Shield Tech to like make it 1 damage. Because I had to use the X-Rex to kill the CR90. So I didn't get near enough chip damage out the side here that I wanted. The MC30 did land in close though to this Venator, so I was able to boarding trooper it. So we burnt a token and we forced a couple other ones red, and then we were able to X-Rex. We burned a lot more tokens. We got shields off of 2 zones. No redirects left, which is very important for Expert Shield Techs. I've now broken that part of his tank. And this Venator is still in close range out the side. I couldn't turn sharp enough even with the Bale dial to get him in front. Though one really sad part about this round though is Dodana did get a crit off. Or did get a crit, and with Dodana's Pride pulled the crit that prevents you from shooting obstructed targets. So I wasn't able to get any salvos in against the CR90. I did manage to get a ram in and a little bit of chip damage with the Pelta, but without being able to get the salvos in to strip a couple more shields off, it became rather rough. The SPHA-T here out the side probably doesn't matter even with the obstruction, because if I go first with this, There's nothing else that's going to be threatening the MC-30 if it lives, so the CR-90 will be able to go and fly away. But regardless, didn't get enough chip damage here, so me killing this CR-90 is very, very unlikely, because I just wasn't able to get any salvos off. Alright, we'll go to the next slide. So Tranquility died. This Pelta is getting picked apart by squads. That was the other thing. Once I knew Tranquility was going to die, like, I know that the squad ball can eat a Pelta in like a round or two. Both Tranquility and this Pelta survived much longer than they probably should have, because the black dice were probably rolling like at 40% hits or hit crits from the A-Wings and the YTs. Even Rogue, I think, had one double hit, and the rest of the attacks the whole game were blanks. So stuff is living longer than it should. Peltas are naturally pretty tanky, so that also helps. Unfortunately, flak hasn't been super effective. There's a lot of stuff still at 6 or 4, 3. So me being able to actually kill anything is extremely unlikely. This CR-90, or this MC-30, took some more damage. I got an accuracy with my close sight shot at the beginning of the round. I got an accuracy that locked the evade, and I had 2 blacks in the con fire, so we stripped off. The close range shot was only to the rear, so we had to go through those 2 shields that were left there. We got a couple more hull damage through. And that means that this Pelta is going to have to do the job of killing it. He had the option with the MC-30 to try and fly into the corner, but going speed 4, he didn't think he could slow down fast enough. He didn't think he could slow down fast enough to do that, so he opted to turn in this way and face the Pelta instead of flying out into the Venator. So we'll go to the next slide. End round 5, this Pelta is still alive because the squads are still rolling terribly. This Pelta is the MC-30 had to fly down, and because this Pelta survived so long, I was able to delay the activation here to go with the Pelta after, I believe, after the MC-30 had gone, or I was just positioned in such a way that the MC-30 had this Pelta had gone and the MC-30 flew into it. It had no other real better option. This is actually partway into 6 here now that I look at it. This is supposed to be at 2 hull here. I thought this was at the top. Yeah, this is at actually instead of the bottom of 5, this is the top of 6 after this Pelta is shot. This was at 2 hull. I did have a con fire lined up on here, so it was going to be a red and 2 blacks. He had me re-roll. The red turned blank, the black was a blank, and I re-rolled the last black and got a hit. So it went from 2 hull down to 1, and then I'm able to ram this to death. So we'll go to the end of round 6. So end of 6, we do kill the MC-30, like I was saying. No one's able to capture the VIP because nothing was left around here to activate to pick up the token. The Pelta dies. The CR-90 is just fine here. So it turns out to be an 11 MOV victory to me, 6-5. So we both kind of kept each other from the top 4. It was still a really good game. It was a lot of fun as always. I tell you, going to back, this fleet is quite similar to Real Veers last week. This kind of squad package is quite a pain for this version of Squadless to fight against. I'm definitely missing my squad, so I'll be going back to testing fleets that run some amount of squads, because letting this run wild and free against your ships is just a bad day. But with that, there's a couple of outstanding games to play. I'm currently in 8th place. I might move down a couple spots if A couple people have like 9 2s or 10 1s. So still a really good performance, and quite happy with how Swiss has gone. Like I said, I was just happy to try and make it into the Swiss. That was my goal for the year. So in that regards, outstanding success. Had a lot of great opponents throughout all the phases of the Swiss. All the games were good and interesting and very strategic. There was no one like running away into corners. They're all pretty decisive engagements, which is really fun uh, type of armada to be playing. So I will have a detail video out probably in the next couple days talking about my fleet for Vassal for the Vassal World Cup and how it went and my design thoughts behind it and what its strengths and weaknesses were. But until then, you all take care.